Hi, my name is Sam Dhanishekharan and welcome to this video series. Now, let's begin with a fundamental question. What is a computer? A computer is a device which can process a set of instructions given to it called programs. It is as simple as that. But our goal in this lesson is to understand what makes up a computer. What is inside a computer? A computer basically contains a system unit. This unit is connected to a set of input and output devices such as monitors, keyboards, mouse, etc. Generally, a monitor is primarily used as an output device, meaning that the computer can show its active program window. These days, a monitor can also be used as an input device. A touchscreen monitor takes input directly from the screen as they allow us to choose the options displayed. A keyboard as well as a mouse are generally used as an input device, meaning that they are used to input our commands to the computer. Does all the computers look the same? No. Computers come in different shapes or different form factors, if I may use a technical term used in the information technology industry. For example, a laptop is a computer. It just contains the input-output devices such as monitor, keyboard, and mouse attached to it. The mouse may be in the form of a trackpad in there. Your smartphone, such as iPhone or Android phone, is a computer. Its screen acts as both an output and input device. We use the touch screen to input our command to the smartphone. Same applies for your tablet devices such as Apple iPad or Microsoft Surface. Point is, all these devices have an equivalent of system unit inside. For the purpose of simplicity, let's take this computer device, which we generally call as a desktop computer. What does the system unit contain? A system unit contains many things such as power supply, motherboard, microprocessor, random access memory, disk drives, etc. Considering the fact that I first opened a computer as a computer service engineer in the year 1991, I can talk about these for hours and hours. But that's not the goal of this video series here. We are all about getting to know cloud computing. So, let me get to three main components in this. One is microprocessor. Next one is RAM or memory. Okay, RAM means random access memory. The next one is disk drives. So these are the three main components within a system unit that I'm going to talk about in this video. Microprocessor. What does a microprocessor do? It does all the calculations. Simple. In other words, it computes. Okay. What does it compute? It computes the set of instructions given to it. In the cloud architecture, a processor is referred as a compute resource. As of now, we are way far away from learning cloud in this video series. So just remember that a microprocessor is part of the compute resource in cloud. If you don't want to remember it now, no worries. The upcoming videos in this series will make it easy for you to remember. Anyways, though every component in a computer is very important, we can safely say that every function of a computer depends on the microprocessor. A microprocessor is also referred as CPU, which is an acronym for Central Processing Unit. Now a question. From where do those set of instructions come? Mostly they come from programs stored in the hard disk drives. What's a hard disk drive? It's basically a storage device used to store data. The data can be in various formats. It can be a program file or a video file, database, etc. Okay. These use multiple magnetic coated disks to hold the data. The data is persistent. What does it mean? It means that even if we turn off the computer, the data will still remain in the hard disk. It won't get deleted or erased. In other words, the hard disks do not need a constant power supply to keep the data in it. I will explain about storage in detail later, but as you can see, this will be part of storage resource in cloud. The next important component is memory, also known as RAM, which is an acronym for Random Access Memory. Let's just say if we are given this math problem in a piece of paper and asked to solve it, we would solve it by writing the answer as 8. But what exactly happens while we do that? First, as we look at the piece of paper, we transfer these numbers into our memory. Then our brain, having learnt simple multiplication theory already, does the process of multiplication and derives at the answer 8. Then we write the answer 8 in that piece of paper. In this example, a part of our brain acts as memory to store these numbers. Then another part of our brain does the calculation. Point is, the calculation never happens on the paper directly without bringing those numbers into our memory, right? Like that, when we ask a computer to run a program which is stored in the hard disk, it copies the program into the memory first. The memory here is the RAM. Then the processing is done by the CPU using the copy of the program stored in the memory. The CPU, also known as Central Processing Unit, also known as Microprocessor, is responsible for transferring the program into the memory. And it will keep track of it and execute the program it just transferred. Once the answer has been arrived, it will be displayed in the monitor in most of the cases and can be saved in the hard disk if we prefer. So, in the human analogy, our brain does both the functions of the CPU and memory. It is responsible for transferring the data from the paper by reading it into the memory, which itself is part of the brain. Whereas in the computer world, CPU does the processing while RAM, also known as memory, acts as the temporary storage area for calculations. I'm calling this temporary storage area because the data will be wiped out when the computer is shut down or when the power goes down. That's why people always ask you to save your modifications in a file often. When you save, your file gets written in the hard disk, where the data will remain even if the computer is shut off. So remember these three components: CPU, which is often referred as compute resource in the cloud architecture; memory, which is also known as RAM; and storage. As we move into cloud, these three components decide the size of the computers that we will rent, if I may use the term rent, from the cloud providers, thereby influencing the cost of those cloud subscriptions. Thank you for watching.